Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Goots. This is the final episode of 2024, and we're talking about Starrcade 95, which is the final pay-per-view of 1995, one of the worst years in wrestling history. But before we talk about 1995, I want to talk to Andrew Lee a little bit about 2024, the year in wrestling. I found this to be a very underwhelming year in general. What did you think?
It was across the board. Like what I mean by that is it was kind of underwhelming, not just in American wrestling of WWE, AEW, but even New Japan. I don't know if you know, in a couple of days they're gonna have their Wrestle Kingdom, and the main event is Shota Umino and Zack Sabre Jr. I'm very underwhelmed by that. That's a far cry from back in 2000 and like what 16, 17, 18, right? Kenny
Yeah.
Omega in there and stuff with Okada. It's just and even last year, WrestleMania with The Rock in it was pretty amazing. But I guess we have to just wait because maybe starting it's gonna rev up in Royal Rumble. But underwhelming year for real, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the year peaked with WrestleMania. Like I went to WrestleMania, it was great. I kind of feel like after that the year went down the tubes. I'll tell you, just talking about AEW, I've given up. Not that I had much hope for them to begin with. I've given up all hope for them. They don't listen. They're not going to change what they do. There's no point in watching if you're not a fan of what they're doing. There's no point in watching in the hopes that they're going to change. They're not going to change. It's his playground, and that was depressing. And it's also
And
good.
and they were just recently estimated to be worth $2 billion. So they don't need you to watch, right? They don't need your stinking money. All right.
You know what it is with that 2 billion value? That's like, okay,
That's
so
a
I
real
have
thing.
this
Real
the
thing.
curse of the curse of Monkey Island on CD, and you go on PC CD ROM, and you go to
What is
me.
that? What is that? A gay porn?
No, it's a fucking video game. It's a computer game. And you go to me, Andrew Lee, bro. You're like, I would like to buy this game from you, Ray. And I go, okay, $2 billion. You're not going to give me $2 billion for it. I can say to you, I've estimated this value at $2 billion. And if I don't sell it to anyone, and if I refuse to sell to anybody unless they give me $2 billion, that doesn't mean it's worth $2 billion. That just means that's my price to part with it. And there's no way that AEW is worth $2 billion. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you tell me it's worth like 900 million, maybe I'll say okay. But $2 billion, get out of here.
That's what it was recently estimated at in Variety Mag. I think Variety.
Those lists that the publicist just hands them a blurb to post.
Okay. Well, they are the third highest rated or highest valued sports enterprise after I mean right after WWE and UFC. So they're
But
in
that
good
doesn't make any.
company.
Where are they making their money?
What do you what do you do? What are you talking about? The merchandise, brother. What are you
The Pro
talking about? The
Wrestling Tea
merchandise,
Shop,
brother.
the Britt
You
Baker figure sitting at Target for 3 years. Where are they making them? Like they have. Where is his money coming in from? It's not from the
oh,
live
and
sales.
wait, realistically, I think it's coming from Warner Brothers because the what do you call it? They got that deal, that new deal where they're going to be streaming. They're going to be the first one to be streaming and also on cable TV at the same time. Even
Well,
WWE never
I
did
mean
that.
that,
They're the
but
first
but
ones
people
going to
have
be
to
doing that.
actually watch it. No one's watching it. So
They already got that money, brother. They already got that
all
money.
right. Well,
Give me that money,
but
honey.
that company stinks. And the other thing with WWE is the pay per views are short. They're no longer fun to. Have you noticed the pay per views are just not fun to watch anymore? And
I don't know,
WWE
brother. They still give me an erection. I don't know what you're talking about.
commercial breaks, only 5 matches a show. Well, let me ask you this before we continue, and then we'll go on to 95. Who is your wrestler of the year? If you have to pick right now.
Wrestler of the year. It's a little harder now because I haven't really been watching because all of it's kind of boring. I don't know. Who do you think is the wrestler of the year?
Cody Rhodes.
Hmm.
He even if he's, you know what, unlike Roman Reigns, he defends the belt every month. His matches are good to great. He's given a lot of people opportunities. I think he had a great match at Mania. He had a pretty good performance at the Royal Rumble. He had great promos with The Rock. I got to give him Wrestler of the Year.
Okay. All right. I'll say this: I don't think a Wrestler of the Year is coming from AEW. That's for sure.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
Wrestler of the Year.
yeah.
You know what? I'll say that if there is a wrestler of the AEW Wrestler of the Year, I would say it's Will Ospreay, even with all his flaws. He's probably the best wrestler there.
Yeah. Why don't we go by that? Okay, if you think Will Ospreay, okay, so Will Ospreay, would you say was the best wrestler of AEW? And
Mhm.
you said Cody Rhodes is the best one in
WWE.
WWE, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and that's fair. I'm trying to
What
think.
was your match of the year? And if you only saw 2 matches, then it's fine. Just pick between
No,
those
I
two
didn't.
matches.
I barely watched anything this year at all. I'm
So
being
what's your
honest.
favorite match?
You know
You're a
what it
fan.
is? I told you before, watching these pay-per-views, these old school pay-per-views, has really put a distaste in my mouth for today's
Okay.
wrestling. Yeah, today's wrestling is just
Well, I'll
bad.
give it to
So
Cody
you, yeah,
Roman at
you tell
Mania.
me. You tell me, my friend.
Cody Roman at Mania.
Oh, I did watch WrestleMania. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Being there live was incredible. Was incredible. Somebody said there's a debate on Twitter that Roman Reigns sucks and nobody likes his matches, nobody cares. And I said to a guy like I was at 40 and people literally like couldn't breathe during that match. What are you talking? Also because it was cold. But what are you
Roman
talking?
Reigns sucks.
Nobody cares. Yeah, because he sucks. That's why everybody was like, "Oh, that's because Cody was there and Undertaker." Okay, all right, you're right. Roman's horrible at everything he does. You're right. I used to be like that. I used to be like that. And you know what? To be fair, in 2015, Roman did stink at everything he did, but he got better because he learned how to work, brother.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
one thing. Speaking of workers, there was a lot of workers in this Starrcade 1995. But
Yeah.
did
This
it
show
draw?
stunk.
But did it draw? That's the question, right?
This was WCW Forbidden Door. This was a bad idea, man. I have a feeling. I have a feeling because based on the way World War III ended, Bischoff wanted to do Hogan Savage at this show, and Hogan went, "No, no, dude, I don't think it's time for that match yet, brother." And they like didn't know what to do for the card, so they were just like, "Let's just do New Japan versus WCW."
I can see that happening because Hogan is definitely absent from this card. He's
Mhm.
been suspended because he hit somebody with a chair, right?
Yeah, I guess on Nitro, I got to go back and rewatch the Nitros. Whatever the reason, you think he really wants to fight New Japan guys on pay per view?
No, of course not. I think you're right. They probably would have gave him Macho Man, but I don't think he wanted Macho Man at that moment or something for some reason.
He was
Because
probably
the
yeah, because
previous the previous pay-per-view left it kind of like that.
yeah, and that would have been the way to go. I don't understand. Like the only thing I could see, I get like the only thing I could see is Bischoff wanted to wait to deliver money matches, and he was just like, and he had this idea with New Japan. He's like, well, I'll do it now because I can't do it. Like, what's the like? In other words, like if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So let me just do it and see
I
if it
mean,
works.
Bischoff was the first Tony Khan before Tony Khan. He had
He liked New
he had
Japan,
a
man.
yeah, he had a hard on for the Japanese guys, you know.
Yeah.
So
He
he
did. He
just
did WCW Forbidden Door. You know what
yeah,
would have
yeah.
made this show a lot better? No Sonny fucking Ono. If I was
Oh
New
my
Japan, I
God,
would have.
this is the Sonny Ono show. This should have been called Starrcade 1995. Sonny
Sonny.
Ono show.
Man, Bischoff took care of his friends, bro. You can never if Sonny Ono ever says to him, "You are not my friend," he can just be like, "Shut the fuck up, you bitch." Do you know how much I put? Do you know how you were all over fucking Starrcade '95? You shouldn't even be on the fucking pre-show to In Your House 7, idiot.
I bet you Sonny Ono actually does badmouth Eric Bischoff nowadays. I
No, they're
bet
still
you
friends.
he. Oh,
Friend
really?
of Bischoff.
I feel like Sonny Ono is one of those kind of guys. Like as soon as he can stop getting things from you, he's no longer like your friend kind of.
Oh, I agree that
Ray,
about
you
Sonny
and
Ono, but
we in
I don't think
comedy.
I don't think Sonny Ono. I think Sonny Ono is still is friends with Bischoff. Because I think he still thinks he can get shit out of him, brother.
Oh yeah, because We know a lot of guys like that in comedy, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ono isn't one of those fucking guys. But yeah, let's talk about it. Starrcade 1995. USA's toughest meets Japan's best in this international wrestling showdown. Takes place December 27th, 1995. Wow, what a coincidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you releasing this in December 27th?
This is coming out. Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna come out the 27th. We are at the 29-year anniversary, brother.
Wow, 29 years today. It's going to be Starrcade 1995, taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. 8,000 people, 8,200 people were in attendance. Only drew 75,000 pay-per-view buys, though.
Yeah,
You
because who
want
cares
to,
about this?
yeah, if you want a comparison of how that went, In Your House 5 drew 84,000. So even that stinker in Your House 5 drew more than this Starrcade 1985. And their next pay-per-view, next WCW pay-per-view, Super Brawl, taking place in February, will draw 210,000 buys. That's a
Yeah,
huge difference. That's a
it's
that's a
this
massive difference.
the Hulkster in a steel cage, dude.
Yeah. Chris Cruz, he does the introduction, and he tells us it's WCW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's a World Cup of Professional Wrestling, and he goes over the entire matches on the card. Then we got Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, joined by Dusty Rhodes on commentary. Uh, During this intro to commentators, Dusty he says a word that I'm pretty sure he just made up, which is going to be the theme for the night.
That's the
Dusty
whole
Rhodes.
show.
I loved it. What did you think about the commentary, man?
I love Dusty Rhodes' commentary. I like the fact that Dusty Rhodes just babbles incoherently the whole show.
I am the same way. I loved it.
I
I
think
got a kick out of
I
it.
would rather listen to Dusty Rhodes babble incoherently than Excalibur and Nigel McGuinness any day of the week, and Corey Graves too.
Um, yeah, I mean, what do you call it? Dusty, he was true to what he was supposed to be. He was a color guy, and he
Yeah.
provided so much color, and it made the show more entertaining for me to watch as well. They
Mm-hmm.
should have put Dusty in the commentary team from the beginning. I don't know why they waited this fucking long.
Well, he was probably you know, I don't know, he's probably busy with other
Too
things. I don't
busy,
know.
too busy, too
I
busy in the
think
back
he had
eating
more of a
cake with.
hand in I think he had more of a hand in booking until Nitro shows up, and then Bischoff really started booking more, and Dusty could be free to sit in the booth and go, you know, hey baby, let me tell you something, Daddy, and you know all that bullshit. Yeah.
I thought he was too busy in the back eating cake until a young Eddie Kingston started coming and stealing the cake, and he had nothing else to do. He's like, "All right, well, I'm free now."
Eddie Kingston's in the back of catering. Hey
Yeah.
partner,
Hey, partner, I'm telling you, 20 years from now, I'm gonna be a superstar partner. I'm fighting all these New
partner, I'm
Japan
gonna
guys.
fight Japan strong style partner. If Tony Khan was booking this show, Hugh Morris would have won by out wrestling fucking Jushin Liger.
Oh, that would be really funny if he was listening to this.
No, Tony Khan.
Eddie
That's what I want to know. Hugh Morris would like just out wrestle fucking
you
Taka Michinoku.
All right, let's go to our first match, man. It is Chris Benoit versus Four Horsemen. Chris Benoit versus Jushin Liger, who comes out with Sonny Ono, and Dusty promptly calls him Sonny Bono, and and Bobby the Brainian has to correct him. I already got a kick out of that. It's such an easy, low hanging fruit joke, but it's you got to make those kind of jokes fun sometimes. Sometimes the most obvious ones are the most funny.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit. So all these Japanese guys, they're gonna come out with these little Japanese flags, and Chris Benoit, the first thing he does is he knocks one of those fucking little Japanese flags out of Liger's hands, and then they start getting right into the action. It's very fast, too fast for me to even call. And while this is happening, Tony Schiavone is letting us know how popular Jushin Liger is in Japan. Like this guy has his own cartoon in Japan, but over here he's going to be curtain jerking. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what you guys should do. That's so funny that they're telling us this, and he's curtain jerking. So weird. Um, so Liger, he fakes doing a dive onto Chris Benoit on the outside, and he actually does like a handspring off the ropes. And Chris Benoit moves out of the way, and Dusty Rhodes is like Liger did the tippy toe, and he looked underneath his legs. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? The tippy toe. It's hilarious. Oh, you
You
guys
gotta
gotta
do the
listen to.
tippy toe, daddy. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I'm gonna every once in a while. I'm gonna point out the funniest things Dusty says in each match.
All right.
Dusty says he would
I love
love to see Bobby the Brain Heenan in a ricochet. He's
it. And
gonna bring
with, oh,
ricochet.
I thought you said he referenced Ricochet.
Uh,
I
he,
want to see
he,
Ricochet, daddy.
I want to see Ricochet in the ricochet in downtown Nashville eating fish. he he mentions Ricochet like so many times in this pay per view.
I thought he was talking about Ricochet.
Yeah, back and forth match, lots of counters, and it ultimately culminates with Chris Benoit superplexing Liger off the top, but the fans love that. Chris Benoit kicks out of a Liger bomb and a brainbuster, and he starts fighting back. All of a sudden, just when I thought this match was really good, Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, has to come down. He says, "No, no, no, you guys are having too much fun in this match. I have to ruin it." Comes out, he just starts
I gotta
distracting
get
Chris
my
Benoit.
heat.
Yeah, he starts distracting Chris Benoit. Jimmy Hart comes out and he holds back Kevin Sullivan.
Oh yeah,
But
we
this
need
is,
Jimmy Hart.
oh my god, we need
That's what every Jushin Thunder Liger match needs. More Jimmy Hart.
more Jimmy Hart, more Kevin Sullivan. That's what the
Mhm.
problem with AEW is. They don't have enough Jimmy Hart. They don't
You
have
know
enough
what?
Kevin Sullivan.
I think Jimmy Hart. Well, you know who's to me the modern Jimmy Hart? He's like even as Don Callis. He's just this fucking useless and annoying.
No, Alex Abrahantes.
No, because Don Callis it gets involved in like the good wrestler matches. Like
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he doesn't get that he's just as bad as Jimmy Hart. He thinks he's like adding value to the whole thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyways, Kevin Sullivan, he does distract Chris Benoit, and that allows Liger to hit a very sloppy looking Hurricanrana to a cover to win the match. I give this a B. I probably would have given it higher if Kevin Sullivan didn't fucking wall his way down. Rest in peace, by the way.
fuck him.
what what
Um,
what did you think about this?
I liked it until Kevin's. I mean, I was thoroughly invested. You know, I can take the fact that this guy's a murderer out of my head and enjoy the match and enjoy the work rate until Kevin Sullivan waddles it, and then I'm just reminded, dude, this feud basically put this guy in the path to murder. Like this feud, like if Kevin Sullivan didn't be like, you know, it'd be a good idea, partner. I don't know why he's talking like Eddie Kingston. You know, it'd be a good idea if you hung out with my wife in real life, because even though no one knows I'm married to her because we never referenced it. Everyone thinks I'm fucking David Sullivan's brother. But just to make it more real, you should hang out with my wife partner in the real world. So everyone thinks that this is for real, for real. If he didn't do that, Benoit might not have murdered her. So when I see his fucking goofy ass, I mean, this guy, I mean, you want to talk about like how different the world would be if Kevin Sullivan decided not to feud with Benoit. It would have been a whole different world. And it's really odd that he picked Benoit out of everyone because they're just so opposite. Do you think like Kevin Sullivan's like, I want to challenge myself as an in-ring competitor partner? Like, why do you think he
You want my honest opinion of why I think he picked Benoit?
to have a feud with? Yeah. Because this
Height,
feud, by the way, goes on for 2 years. Just let you know.
height,
What?
height.
Height. Okay.
Yeah, because Kevin Sullivan is a very short man, as when in wrestling terms, right? And Chris Benoit is small too, height wise, and I think he was like, here's someone that I can probably pair up against that is gonna not look goofy like everything else. You
Like
know,
everything else
that's
I
what I
do.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um.
I think Kevin Sullivan was banking on outshining Benoit in the charisma acting um comparison, right?
Well, that don't matter to me.
Well, but that's what he was, back in the days wrestling, that was important. It should
Oh
still
no,
be
that is
important.
important. That is important. But let me tell you something. If there was ever anyone that Benoit was a better fucking promo. No, Kevin Sullivan just stinks. Everything he does is garbage. And he's not good at anything. He he's horrible. He not only should he not be in the Hall of Fame, they should create a Hall of Shame just for him.
Oh, Hall of Shame just for Kevin Sullivan.
Start with him and then bring in put down Abdullah. You know what? That's what you should do. Sullivan and Benoit
Oh,
go in the Hall of Shame this year.
oh God. Wait, Abdullah the Butcher. Oh my gosh.
All
Abdullah
right.
the Butcher will be my first inductee as Hall of Shame. That guy stinks so bad. Oh,
All right, let's move
anyways,
on. But I
he's gonna
enjoyed the
win this.
match until these two morons showed up.
Same here. Same here. I enjoyed it until those guys came out, so I gave it a B. Not a bad opening match, but oh man, that stench of failure just came in.
Mm-hmm.
So Mean Gene Okerlund, he
Stench
is
of
with
murder.
the what?
The stench of murder,
The
more like
stench
it.
of murder. Yeah, Mean Gene Okerlund, he's in the back with a very young Eddie Guerrero, who stammers through his promo, and he's stammering through saying, Kevin Sullivan shouldn't have even been out there. I don't know what he's doing there." And I'm honored to represent WCW, and I'm honored to I'm gonna give my best. I'm gonna WCW is number one. I was just like, yikes, Eddie, yikes. This is definitely Eddie
Latino
Guerrero.
stinks.
Eddie, yeah, Latino sticks, yeah. Eddie Guerrero. What was really good about this though? It lets me know that if you work hard enough, you can improve on certain aspects, right? Because by the
Yeah.
time Eddie Guerrero is in WWE and he unfortunately passes away, his promos are way better than this, right? So it was kind of fun seeing a shitty Eddie Guerrero on the mic. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. So do you remember the last show the announcers kept kept talking about maybe Eddie Guerrero could win the belt? Remember that?
Yes. Uh huh.
Ric Flair pitched an idea of Eddie Guerrero winning World War III, or the night after Ric Flair wins the belt, Guerrero would upset Flair for the belt. And he was like, and then we have a main event. So Ric Flair pushed for just have Guerrero win the battle royal. No, who would expect that? And now we have a big Mexican star, and people didn't go for it. So there were people in power being like, let's go for the upset and just shock everyone, which I really do think would have shocked everybody. Here's the problem: he couldn't cut a promo to save his life.
Yeah.
I
At
think
this
in
point,
90,
yeah.
if if in 98 or 99 you decide to have like a battle royal for the world title and Guerrero wins it, then I think people would have went nuts. But I think 95 it wasn't time yet. I don't know what that really would
Yeah,
have done.
I agree. I agree. This promo proved it. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, what do you call it? Yeah. But like he is being heavily featured already, so you can already
Mm-hmm.
tell like for a new
It's
guy,
good. It's good. It's good. It's not. It's going to go away as 96 progresses. But yes, they know someone knows what they have. He has.
you know what they're kind of giving him like the at this time like an Alex Wright kind of push. In the
Yeah.
sense that like he's the new guy and he's getting featured very heavily for some reason, you know? Like they saw something in Alex Wright that we didn't see, and then after like a year, they just get rid of it. And that's probably what's gonna happen with Eddie Guerrero, but that's happening right now. But I will give him credit. I like that WCW was doing that with like a brand new person every once in a while, you know? Like just
No.
like pushing them right away, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I mean, yeah. They don't worry. They get over that real quick. They get
Oh
over
yeah.
pushing people real quick.
Let's go to
So,
the
but
match
yeah,
number two. Koji Kenyamoto with Sonny Ono. He is the New Japan Pro Wrestling Light Junior Heavyweight Champion. He come out with the belt, and actually, person we just talked about, he's gonna be facing Alex Wright. Dusty brings up Printer's Alley, and Bobby the Brain Heenan asks him, "Hey, what are you like hanging out with newspaper people?" And Dusty Rhodes like, "Nah, Daddy, I was tipping the light Fandango." And I was like, "What the fuck does that
they're
mean?"
supposed to be like fantastic. That's like a phrase of dancing. They used to use it in
Yeah,
Mortal
yeah.
Kombat.
It means carefree dancing. I had
Yeah.
never heard of that before, but hey, I learned something new.
Oh,
Even
they
today,
used to
I
use
learned
that.
something
They
new
used
from
to use
Dusty
that in old
Rhodes.
Marvel comics.
What?
They used to use it in old Marvel comics. Like fucking the Thing would be like, "I'm gonna go to the club and trip the light fantastic."
Uh,
Read.
I guess back when I was reading comics though, like stuff like that. I think there was no internet, so I wasn't looking things up.
Well, when I would read the old comics, they'd be like these weird phrases, and I would just be like, "That just must be what old people said back in the '60s and '70s," and I would just keep going. But I've seen, and I realized it was dancing. I've seen the Thing or Hawkeye say, "I'm going to go trip the light fantastic." In I forget in one of the '70s comics.
Interesting. Which one do you like better? Trip the Light Fantastic or Tipping the Light Fandango?
That's better. I think
Tipping
the
the
thing
light
should say that in the
fandango.
new movie.
Yeah, tipping the light fandango sounds really good. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here it is. I'm learning something from Dusty even to this day. That's amazing. You know? Can you
Daddy, I'm all
imagine?
about teaching you, Daddy.
Can you imagine how great AEW would have been if Dusty Rhodes would have been there? Right?
Oh
There
my
would
God.
be no
Well,
case in the back, but everybody would be
Eddie
performing.
Casey be like, I gotta leave, partner. I came here for cake.
Dusty's gonna eat all the cake in the back.
Dusty, you are a legend, and I respect you. But I need my cake, partner. I would do anything for this business, but I also do anything for cake.
I bet you Eddie Kingston regrets so much doing that thing where he's eating cake in the back, because that's something that he did. He was like on camera eating cake in the back. He's like, I just want to eat this cake.
He never listen. He never regrets eating. Come on, that's all he has in life.
All right. So Koji Kenyamoto, I'm actually a fan of. He does. If you guys know the Koji Clutch, this is the guy who invented it. He was also like the third Tiger Mask. I think he's still wrestling to this day. I'm not sure. He might be doing like.
I just assumed every Japanese guy on the show was still wrestling because they never quit. So.
Oh yeah, I know, because I think it's hard to make a living. If you once you're like, what do you fucking do? You got to make a living after this, Remember, that guy, Manabu Nakanishi.
Who?
He is been on these WCW pay-per-views, but under a different name, Kurosawa, right? But he ends up he ends up wrestling, becoming a big star in Japan, named Manabu Nakanishi, and he retired from New Japan Pro Wrestling just a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And did a follow up on him, and he was working at a gas station. I felt so bad. I was like,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like after wrestling is not one of those things where you have a pension. When you retire,
No.
you got to keep working.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Anyways, let's go into this. So Kenyamoto, he's a bit faster than Alex Wright, who's also fast, but Koji's got a little bit of an edge. And he starts working his left leg, but Alex Wright hits a beautiful series of standing head scissors. They look great. Didn't you like that? Where nobody, I don't think I see people do that anymore. Where they just hit like a jumping head scissors.
Yeah, that was good.
It looked like he's going for a drop kick, and he just grabs you with his legs and he just twists you around. Anyway, the fight ends up spilling outside, which frustrates Koji, and he decides to get back in and starts answering back with some heavy kicks. And then Koji Kenyamoto basically hits a snake eyes on Alex Wright, and then hits a jackknife cover to win the match. I gave this a B. I would have given it a higher rating, but then after this match, they could do a close up of Sonny Ono, who says, "So sorry, you guys all lose," and I was like, "Well, this is downgraded a whole fucking grade because of this fucking asshole."
So sorry, you guys will lose.
Yeah, he says that. He says it just like that. Oh, it's so annoying.
I hate, dude. Fucking.
Oh,
Why did New Japan? Why did New Japan? Like, I just wish someone in New Japan's like, we're pulling the show. We're all leaving right now. Like, you gave us this guy. Like, it's just like, it's fucking. It's Bobby Hacker's like, he just does that. I don't tell him to do it. He just does it. I don't know. So he thinks you guys.
Like he just does it. We don't tell him to do it. In fact, we've asked him not to, and he said, "Please, I really want to do it." So we're like,
he said, "So
fine.
sorry, I'm gonna do it anyway." So Alex Wright went back to Germany for Christmas and ate cookies for a week, and your buddy trained. So Alex Wright said he was like blown up this whole match. He didn't know the guy was going to go that hard, but he said it's a learning experience to not eat cookies all week, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, this was a good match. I didn't mind it. I still believe in Alex Wright. He's still young. If
He's still young. Yeah.
If Jericho can still fucking stink up the joint, why can't Das Wunderkind fucking?
And you know what? For him to get a match like here still shows that they still somewhat believe in him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
like all the young guys I think on this show that were fighting the New Japan crew, Benoit, Guerrero, and Alex Wright. I think they saw them as the future. I also think they saw Johnny B. Bad as the future, but
Yeah, and because they have other people, like they have Scott Riggs, they have like Marcus Bagwell, but they're not putting him on the show. They're putting these guys on, so it means something. That's what I think.
Marcus Bagwell was too busy doing coke.
Yeah, probably. So afterwards, Mean Gene Okerlund, he's interviewing Sonny Ono, who comes out and he goes, "Oh, maybe I'm gonna buy WCW and Iowa. I'll buy Iowa too." And I'm just at this point, I was like, "Wow, there's just too much Sonny Ono on this show." Like
It really is.
he's not just walking wrestlers. He's now getting like interview time with Mean Gene Okerlund. Like this is just too much. This just was
I've never seen anything like this before.
yeah, I never seen
It's
it. It would have been like if Sir Oliver Humperdinck was getting like was like all over a show, you know? Remember Sir Oliver Humperdinck, that fat loser?
yeah, he's a better promo. I think Sonny Ono is one of the worst characters in wrestling. He's another one for the Hall of Shame.
Yes, yeah. I think he should host the Hall of Shame every year.
These are the little things. See, these are the little things that even when they were kicking Vince's ass, if you're Hulk Hogan or you're like fucking Macho Man, like they're not gonna kick his ass forever. We're not gonna kick because why would you put this guy in the whole show? Like you can't tell me Hulk Hogan if I don't know if Hulk Hogan even watched this. Hulk Hogan's like, yeah, it's a good idea to have this guy on TV. You can't tell me that. Like these little things like this, putting this guy so much, you were always gonna go out of business because you thought this was a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think Hulk Hogan was watching this, but I think somebody if like Bret Hart was working in WCW at the time and he was like a top guy, I think he would have been like, "Why are you guys doing this?" I think he
Well,
would
I
have
don't know
been
if you
like,
noticed, but the minute Nash and Squall show up, Sonny Ono is barely on the show. I wouldn't be surprised if they said something too. Like, bro, come
"Yeah,
on.
I actually you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if those two are the guys who actually said something like, dude, what is this shit?" Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's go to match number 3. Masahiro Chono out with Sonny Ono comes
No.
out for the next match. Tony Schiavone hypes up Masahiro Chono's STF, and he's like, "Oh, he also got trained from Lou Thez, who invented the STF and is his direct student, so he's the master of the STF." Versus Lex Luger, who comes out with Jimmy Hart. So it's the battle of the shittier. Who has the shittier manager? That's the match of the shittier manager.
Yeah, why? Here's the other thing. I understand Lex turned heel. Why? Like, what are they doing? They're putting like, why are you like Lex is on stage posing? The crowd loves it, and Jimmy Hart's just pointing. Dude, Jimmy Hart was never like this WWE. He never was like. He makes sure he's in center of the camera. He was always
Yeah.
like behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like in WWE, go back and watch. He's behind the Nasty Boys. He's behind Earthquake. He wasn't like taking up the fucking screen. Also, can you like poor Lex? Can you imagine Lex Luger? I left WWE and now I'm stuck with Jimmy Hart. Like, oh my god.
So, but okay. Man, I feel bad because I don't want to be this guy who keeps doing this comparison, but I have to. It's it's the same thing you can say of what's happening now when people go from WWE to AEW, right? Like
Mhm.
like WWE is really good at like hiding people's weaknesses and also
Yeah.
letting people know, hey, your role is to do X, Y, and Z. That's it. Don't try to overshadow or whatever. The moment people are leave that WWE, in this case WWF environment, they just kind of get free reign to do whatever the fuck they want, and it's not good. Think about even when WWE talent went to like TNA. Remember when like
Yeah.
Rikishi started doing The Rock in like TNA, and you're like, what are you fucking doing? You never did this. Just, like, don't fucking do it, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just like you're right. Like Jimmy Hart when he was in. Remember what happened with Mean Gene too? As soon as he went over to WCW, he started acting really
Oh yeah,
sleazy.
he acted completely different. He
Yeah,
never
and
shut
it's
up.
like WWF, they just have a way of telling you. I think they just go like, "Don't act like this. It's a
Yeah.
professional place." And I think you're right. When you go there, there's probably less rules, so you could do whatever the fuck you want. You know, there needs to be rules. There needs to be guidelines.
And everywhere in life and in everything, there needs to be rules.
Correct.
That's right.
Everywhere, including wrestling. All right. So let's go into this match. Lex Luger,
That
he
was a
takes it
funny.
to.
There needs to be rules.
There needs to be rules. There just has to be. There needs to be guidelines. There's sometimes there needs to be people who are given scripts for their promos. You know.
He, yeah.
All right. Lex Luger, he takes it to Chono early on in this match, but Chono was able to fight back, and they have to do a reset. And then Chono, he does get to put on the STF, but Lex gets out of it. Chono hits his Mafia kick, and when Tony Schiavone calls the Mafia kick, Dusty Rhodes gets super annoyed at him. He goes, Tony, why are you using these terms like Mafia kick? What is this German suplex?
What do you think this is, Daddy?
He's like, yeah, what do
What
you
do you
think
think
this
this
is?
is?
What,
I want to
what is
know.
this? What is this, a geography class?
Oh he gets really mad at Tony.
Yeah, he goes using terms like German suplex. And he just put him on his ass. He dropped him on his ass. And Bobby the Brain Heenan joins in, and they're just both mocking Tony Schiavone. It's so funny.
Tony's like, I'm trying to call this stupid, horrible show.
Yeah. By the way, what's really funny is Tony Schiavone and JR did the same thing to Excalibur when AEW first started. Do you remember this? They did the same thing.
Oh
What
yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Schiavone, what's happening to Tony Schiavone now, he does like 20 something years later. It's so
Well,
funny.
Excalibur deserves it. He's annoying.
In the beginning he did it. They're like the way
He always deserved it. He should be
yeah.
punished.
Anyways, this match is a pretty short match. Lex Luger hits the torture rack to get a win and a huge pop from the crowd when he wins. I give this a B minus. What did you think about match number 3?
I mean, Luger was getting over, even though he turned heel. He was over. They were doing this weird like thing where he's a heel, except when he's with Sting, and then he's a face. But the crowd was ready for him, man. The crowd was ready for him.
Luger was super over.
You know, you probably could have done Lex versus Hogan at this show. You could have done a lot of things. He was over. They waited too long to put the belt back on him, and they took it away a week later, which we'll talk to when we get to 97. But man, the crowd was into him. Even with Jimmy Hart stinking up the joint, stealing his heat, brother, guy was still over. That's all I can say. Jimmy Hart makes me sick. So
yeah, Lex Luger has that Ric Flair thing where he's like that cool heel,
yeah,
like like I don't like him as a good guy, but I love him as a bad guy.
yeah.
Like it's just weird. It's a weird thing, but he has it. After this match, Mean Gene Okerlund talks to Lex's friend Sting, and he's talking to him about his match, Suzuki, and he's like, "Yeah, Kenzo Suzuki beat me, but I'm not getting bent out of shape out of that because there's no belt on the line tonight. But doesn't matter. It's just pride. I'm gonna beat him this time." And then Gene Okerlund has to bring up Lex's friend, and he goes, "Hey, what's the deal with your friend Lex Luger?" And Sting's like, "Hey, he's my friend, but we're gonna have a match tonight, and it's hey, as he says, you got to do what you got to do." So showing that,
So let's do it.
yeah, they got to do what they got to do. It's their match tonight. But before we get to that match, we have a couple more matches to get through, including match number 4, Johnny B. Bad with the Diamond Doll, who does a really impressive one-hand somersault, which was pretty cool, very athletic. But Johnny B. Bad versus Masa Saito with Sonny Ono. Do you know anything about Masa Saito?
I used to know. He's older. He also in he was in AWA and shit, and he was like in WWE for a little bit.
Yeah, he was the guy who him and Ken Pantera beat up a whole bunch of cops, and he had to stay
That's
in
right.
jail.
Yeah.
He was in jail for 2 years in America. Like he's a legit badass. Like you don't ever want to fuck with this guy. Like
I
he's
kicked
one
his
of the
ass.
ones they told the story. Like the cop sprayed pepper spray in his eyes, and he couldn't see. But him and Ken Patera was still beating up everybody. Like they had to like beat up. They beat up like 18 cops or something like that. Some ridiculous number.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, and he had nothing to do with it. He just was in hanging out in his hotel room. The cops bust in, so he just starts like fighting, and But he's a legit badass. He's old at this point, but he's a badass in there with the baddest man of them all, of course, Johnny B. Bad. Before this match can begin, though, Sonny Ono has to get on the microphone.
Yes, we need more Sonny Ono.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I was like, there was not enough Sonny Ono in the Lex Luger match. I need more Sonny Ono right now at this point. He gets in the microphone and he goes, Diamond Doll, you should be at home. What are you out here? You should be at home. And then Diamond Doll's like, listen here, Hop Sing. And everyone's all fucking cheering and laughing because of Hop Sing. It's a racial slur thing. Get it?
Yeah,
We told this Jap, right? Sonny Ono gets annoyed at that, and that's how they're gonna start this match.
And then he has like she goes like, if wrestling's a man's sport, what are you doing here? And he just goes like, control your woman. He doesn't
Yeah,
even
he
have like
goes,
a fun.
Johnny, control your woman.
This guy is such a fucking non-talent, you know? Control your woman.
woman, Johnny.
That's it? That's all you have to say? Hi.
Yeah. You know what he should have done is if he was like a good heel manager, after she said that, he should have sold it like he was like, what? Like,
But
like,
he has no talent. He
yeah.
has zero talent. It's you might as well put Barry Ribs in the ring. Fucking control your woman.
So this match is actually the first match where we're gonna see them doing that whole Japanese style of us trading chops back and forth. But this one is not like the ones they do nowadays. It's very believable because it's just like, oh, you're gonna fucking chop me, I'm gonna fucking chop you back. Like nobody's going, come on, give it to me. Nobody's like doing that thing of like, all right, go ahead, give me. They're just like, Saito chops Johnny, so Johnny's like, oh, fuck you, and he chops him back, and they're just going chop after chop after chop. It is pretty cool, but Masa Saito, he wins that little battle and he takes control of the match. Sonny Ono every once in a while takes a jab at Johnny B. Bad. However, Johnny B. Bad does fight back, and then he grabs Sonny Ono, and Masa Saito grabs Johnny from behind and throws him over the top rope for disqualification because I guess this rule is still in play in WCW.
Over the top rope.
It only applies when they want it to apply.
Yeah.
Stupid
that's all the rules. The same thing with that's all the rules.
Yeah, it only applies when we want it to apply. The other times you see it happen a gazillion times, nobody calls it. But here they call it. It's a DQ win for Johnny B. Bad. Afterwards, Masa Saito turns his attention to Diamond Doll, but Johnny B. Bad fights off Saito, and Saito goes out the ring. And when he's outside the ring, Johnny B. Bad decides to hit his bad mood flip somersault plancha, but he completely misses Saito, and he fucking like lands on his ass outside. This match is a C. I give it it's like a C match.
Yeah, Masa Saito's too old. He's too busy.
Old.
Like he wants McDonald's. He just can't. And Johnny B. Bad. It was a mixed bag style. Also, that opening promo put a really bad taste in my mouth. I thought so far worst match from the show. Poor Johnny. The Mark Merrow-ness of it all is seeping through on our good friend Johnny B. Bad. So
yeah. You know what? Because Johnny B. Bad's kind of being shown he can have a good match with a good talent, but he cannot have a good match with like someone where he needs to kind of carry it.
Yeah.
Which is that's that sign, sometimes, you're you're only as good as your opponent in this case for him.
So exactly.
Yeah.
And this guy, it's over. It's over for him. I know he's your hero, but it's over.
But yeah, that's like the thing with I think this is why Mick Foley looked down on it, because Mick Foley's the kind of guy he could have a good match with almost anybody, right? He can make it work. But I guess when he sees Mark Merrow, I think maybe Mick Foley knows you can only have a good match if you're given that opportunity with a great talent. But if you're like me and you're given like Paul Wonderful, and you got to work a match with Paul Wonderful.
Paul Wonderful? Did you say Paul Wonderful?
Paul Orndorff. Yeah, because that's probably what Mick Foley thinking. Like, I want you to have a fucking match with Paul Orndorff, see what you can do with that or something like that. And, I don't know. Who cares?
Well, anyway. Johnny B. Bad can still walk to his car. So
that's true. That is true. Yeah, and he could still. Both lost their woman though.
Yeah, they both lost their women right now. So I think it's even right now, dead.
It's dead even. It's dead even. Mean Gene Okerlund.
Get even here, pal.
Mean Gene Okerlund, he's in the back with Lex Luger and Jimmy Hart, and they talk about Kevin Sullivan for a little bit. And then Jimmy Hart says, hey, the Horsemen, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, whatever that means. And then Lex Luger says, the top names in professional wrestling right now are Sting, Ric Flair, and Lex Luger. But there's only one prize, and Savage has it. And he calls Savage pathetic. You're pathetic, Savage. You're just like a one-legged paper champion. And he goes, I am going to do my thing at this triangle match. And he goes, Jimmy, the people can't fucking stand you. Please, like, stay in the back. I'm gonna do this shit on my own. Please, no Jimmy Hart. So Jimmy Hart has agreed to not accompany Lex Luger in this match. Thank God for that.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
but
gonna go.
he'll be back though. He's like, that's not gonna stop me, Daddy.
He'll be back though. Don't we're not that lucky.
If you're worried, like I need Sonny Ono and I need Jimmy Hart all over this show. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Yeah, you'll get plenty more. You'll get plenty more of that action. Let's go to match number 5. Shinjiro Otani with Sonny Ono versus Eddie Guerrero, which Dusty calls this match. It's a pivotal match at this point because WCW is down, I think, what, 2-1? No, 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're down. No. They're one. How many are they down? What's one? Two. No, it's 2-2. It's 2-2. So this
Okay.
is WCW 2 and New Japan Pro Wrestling 2. So this is like a pivotal match, as Eddie,
Pivotal match, Daddy.
as Dusty says. Do you know anything about Shinjiro Otani, by the way?
No, should I?
I mean, he's kind of a legend in Japan. He did have a couple of years ago. He got like injured in the ring where he was like paralyzed. Remember this?
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
No, I don't think I do. But all right.
Okay, I think he might have gotten surgery and he was able to like get unparalyzed. But it was a scary moment. Whenever that happens, it's scary. I feel bad. It's like, oh man, that fucking sucks, right? But
Yeah, that sucks.
unfortunately, the thing with wrestling is when you get old, you really should stop. You know,
Yeah, I
it's like
agree.
why risk it at that point? Um, all right, so they lock up, and Otani does this great thing where they lock up, and then he just honks Eddie Guerrero's nose, and Eddie Guerrero gets annoyed by that, so he just hits an enziguri right away. Great back and forth action until Eddie Guerrero hits a head scissors, and Otani has to take a powder out the ring because he's frustrated with Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero's in control of most of this match, hitting his helo, his power bomb, a brainbuster. He's all over the place. This is some fantastic. You know what Eddie Guerrero does? He hits moves that everybody else basically hits, like a power bomb and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he does it with like great precision, almost like Bret Hart. You know, like everybody else did the Russian leg sweep, just like Bret Hart did. But the way Bret did it was so crisp, right? I feel
Yes,
like that's what Eddie does. It's so crisp and so clean the way he hits it.
I agree.
Otani, he does fight back with a missile drop kick, and then he does a springboard splash to Eddie Guerrero when he's on the outside. Eddie Guerrero does come back with a Hurricane Rana and a sit out power bomb, but he can't get the win. The fight spills outside again, and Eddie Guerrero hits a springboard splash. This somehow got Otani bloodied up, and a bloody Otani hits a springboard drop kick to the back of Eddie Guerrero's head when he's back in the ring. And then they do a series of back and forth covers, reverses, and until Otani reverses the last cover and he gets the pinfall victory. This is a B+ match. This might have been the best match on the card, I think. What about you?
I like this match a lot. It's great early Eddie Guerrero. You know what, dude, 96 is going to be so much fun with all these guys just giving it their all, 96 and 97. And this is early Eddie Guerrero. He's not there in terms of the personality, but in terms of in-ring, he's already one of the GOATs. So I enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's already, you could see the shifting. Like, you can see the shifting of like wrestling happening in WCW with guys like Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. Like they're
Yeah.
changing like how wrestling has to be. You know, it's kind of, I could see if you're like a Brutus the Barber BK, you're watching this and you're kind of like, oh fuck. You
He's
know?
like, I'm not worried. I
Yeah.
can still strut and cut, baby.
Mean Gene Okerlund, who's once again in the back, this time with Randy Savage, and they're talking about his opponent Tenzan. And then a triangle match afterwards, and Savage is like, forget about the triangle match, okay? Forget about it. I gotta focus on this first match. WCW is behind. And he keeps saying infinity and beyond. He keeps saying that over and
Yeah,
over.
he just saw Toy Story, I think.
Yeah. So he keeps going infinity and beyond. Wait, did Toy Story come out at this point?
Yeah, it came out November of 95.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, so he probably went to the theater like, go to see the Toy Story.
No
Yeah,
way, for real. Wait, did Toy Story really come out in 95? Oh my god, it did. Oh,
yeah,
is
yeah,
that
bro.
holy
Why you down the goots? I
shit?
saw Toy Story to infinity and beyond. You got to
Oh my
understand what I'm
gosh,
talking.
this is hilarious. I
That
think
means he went. He doesn't have any unless he has nieces and nephews we don't know about. That means he went alone to see Toy Story, and he was like, "Oh, I
okay.
like
So
this."
Toy Story in America came out in November 1995. So a month previously, the Toy Story is a hot movie happening at this point in Starrcade, right?
Yeah. So
And
Macho Man saw it.
yeah, Macho Man saw Toy Story, so that's why he keeps saying Infinity and Beyond.
Infinity and beyond. I
I
like
can
it.
picture, I can
It's
picture
a good
Mon-
movie.
I could picture Randy Savage in the back, like, "Could you guys all see this Toy Story movie? This is a
Yeah,
fantastic film.
I
You guys
can't.
gotta watch."
I you think like what like do you think there was a day like they're all in the back like they're like, oh, we got extra time, oh, we should also see, it's like Luger, Sting, Flair, we should go see a movie, and some of them are like, let's go see Heat, so like, let's go see Seven, and he's like, let's go see Toy Story. Yeah, I know it's for kids, but I want to see it, the CGI. Like, do you think like Macho Man like wanted like said like went up to people in the locker room like, dude, you come see Toy Story with me? Because you know they probably saw on the road. He didn't like do it on his day off.
Yeah, and I think it's even funnier how it's like this movie made such an impact on him that he's like, "I gotta say Infinity and Beyond. I gotta keep saying that line. It's got
That's
a
my
nice
new
ring
line.
to
I
it."
like it. I'm gonna take it. It's gonna be mine now. Fuck you, Disney. You're a bunch of cunts. Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity and Beyond. Anyways, after he says that a bunch of times, he goes, "I can't say any another word. I can't say another word." And then he leaves. And as Gene Okerlund's wrapping up, he comes back and he goes, "Oh yeah, yo, Macho Man. God, I miss him. He's so much
He's the
fun.
best.
He's all over
He's,
the place, and he's like, I can't say another word. And he leaves, and he just comes back. He's like, oh yeah.
oh
He's such,
yeah.
he's like
Dig it.
not even human. He's just a character. He's just like a he's such a fun
Dude,
character. God,
he's the
he's so much.
greatest of all. He's the goat.
Yeah,
He's the goat.
I think Macho Man is up there. He's in my top 500%. 100%. He's got to be. He's just so much fun to watch.
He's
Let's
the
go to match
goat.
number 6. It is Tenzan with Sonny Ono versus Randy Savage. I don't know if you guys know Tenzan. Tenzan, he was still wrestling with New Japan Pro Wrestling just up to like a couple of years, just like a few years ago. I think he's still wrestling. I think he has really bad fucking knees though now. It's really bad.
He's a man. Yeah, I don't like his knees. Get him new knees.
Those his ankles. His ankles are fucking nasty. Is he still wrestling?
I don't know.
I think he's still wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling to this day. Jeez.
He's still there.
53. All right. Well, anyways, Tenzan, by the way, here they spell his name with an S instead of a Z. But Tenzan controls most of this match. He chops down Randy Savage early, and he just putting the heat on until Tenzan goes for a moonsault. He misses the moonsault, which allows Randy Savage to climb up to the top, hit his top rope elbow drop, and win. I didn't like the way the ending just came out of nowhere like that. I gave this a C. It's a very
Yeah,
basic.
well, it did it. They had to do it fast because really, why the fuck is Macho Man in this fucking tournament when he's in the main event? It just makes no
Mhm.
sense. Like, what if this guy beats Macho Man? Does that mean that this guy gets a title shot? You know, like it
Yeah.
just makes no sense to shove this match in when you got a big main event with Flair. So or whoever. Sting. Remember, we don't know the main event is because they're gonna wrestle for it.
Do
It just
you
made no
do
sense.
you do you think they did it because like they were like, we got to be fair because everybody else is having at least 2 matches, so Macho Man's got to have like we don't want fans to be like that was unfair. We got to have him have like 2 matches
I
too.
guess, and also when Macho Man loses, it's like, all right, so he was warned. Like if Macho Man didn't have another match and then he loses the Flair, he looks like a fucking idiot. So
Yeah, because everybody is gonna have minimum 2 matches.
they gotta
Sting,
have
Lex
two.
Luger, Ric Flair. So if Macho Man only had 1 match and then he loses, and you're just like, wow, are you a loser? Right? You just want to be like, what are you? Yeah, so maybe that's why they did
Maybe
it.
I
But
am a loser. I don't know.
anyway, this was stupid booking. Like this was dumb. They shouldn't have
Yeah.
done it like this. They really shouldn't have. You could have done it where you could have had more talent on the show, right? Easily, or
Mhm.
maybe they were just too cheap and they were like, we don't want to pay everybody Just we don't want to pay more people. Just what you guys is enough or something like that. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, let's just move on.
Yeah, move on. Fuck them.
Yeah, they throw it to the commentary team. Bobby the Brain Heenan is facing the wrong way. So Tony Schiavone's like, hey, you got to turn around. But Bobby the Brain Heenan's all flustered. He turns around. He's dropping papers. He drops his chair.
Oh, that was really funny.
Very good physical comedy by Bobby the Brain Heenan. And then they throw to Mean Gene Okerlund, who's saying like, oh, that guy's all over the place. And then Mean Gene Okerlund says, there is a gigantic meltdown taking place elsewhere in wrestling, and I'll tell you all about it on the hotline. And then he has Flair with him, and Flair's like talking about Sting and Lex Luger and how they have to beat the man in order to beat the man, be the man. Typical Flair promo, not bad promo, it's good. But what did you think about the Bobby the Brain Heenan's comedy?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Great.
Yeah, there's nobody in commentary who will do something like that anymore. Nobody will purposely make a fool out of themselves for entertainment purposes.
Well, because they want you to be a robot. They don't want you to be a human being, and also they don't have the talent. You think Excalibur or fucking Corey Graves could do something this funny?
Do you think Booker T should be doing something like this? That'd be hilarious.
But also like these guys aren't willing to make themselves look stupid. They think they're cool.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan understood this is all entertainment. It doesn't matter. It's just like all supposed to be like entertainment. Yeah.
These guys, like, I don't know. It's. I don't want to get in. I get depressed that we're probably never going to get a Bobby Heenan. I'm going to be 83 and there's still not going to be a new Bobby Heenan. Like, it's depressing. Let's keep moving.
Yeah. He is definitely the one in a lifetime kind of talent.
But I think you could cultivate a talent like that if you allowed people to play. They're never going to let anyone play though. So
yeah. Let me ask you another question. What did you think the Mean Gene Okerlund gigantic meltdown he's talking about? He's clearly talking about WWE, right?
It's probably something with the click.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to match number 7. This is the I think this is the final match, right?
The thing is, it's Sting, right?
Yeah, WCW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling is up 3-. No, they're up. No, it's tied up 3-3, right? So this is the final match to decide who's going to win the World Cup.
Who's going to be the number one?
Yeah, Kenzaki Sasaki with Sonny Ono versus Sting. Remember, Sasaki is the guy who beat Sting for that U.S. title, I believe. Sasaki attacks Sting right away, and he controls most of the match in the beginning. Sasaki hits a nasty-looking brainbuster, and Sting is down for a little bit. He's like slow to get up. He's just like, it almost looked like a little bit like Bandito, because like kind of like kneeling. He's just like kneeling in the ring, like trying to get his bearings, right? In the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Sting does suddenly fight back, and he puts on the deathlock all of a sudden, and he just wins the match. Afterwards, Randy Savage, Alex Wright, Eddie Guerrero, Johnny B. Bad, they all join Sting to congratulate him. Then Chris Benoit and Lex Luger, who are the heels, I guess, of this group, kind of join it later on. And then Gene Okerlund is there with this giant World Cup, and he's giving to Sting, Sting, you got anything to say? And Sting's like, USA! I gave this match a C.
Did you notice that Lex held the cup up more than Sting? Like he did it. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they're very good because
it is also weird that Macho Man and Benoit are feuding. Because Macho Man is feuding with the Horsemen and they're like celebrating together, like yay!
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, this booking was kind of a weird show, but hey, we got to see some cool matches. Anyway, let's go to our penultimate match. This is the triangle match. We get a recap package, a really well done video package of like why we got to this point of this triangle match.
Yeah.
And it is Lex Luger versus Ric Flair versus Sting. The winner is going to get Macho Man Randy Savage right afterwards. Ric Flair and Sting, they're going to start off the match. And they did tell us there's going to be a coin toss to determine who sits out. There was no coin toss, and Tony Schiavone starts pointing out there was no coin toss. Like, why is did Lex Luger just decide to sit out? That's really funny. After a long beatdown process, Sting, like Ric Flair does the strut, and then he turns around and Sting mocks Ric Flair's strut, and then he mounts an offense, and the fight spills outside. They get back in the ring, and Sting goes for a drop kick, but Ric Flair kind of holds the rope and evades a drop kick, and which makes Sting land on his head. So it starts the heat process again on Sting until Sting gets suplexed, and Sting just no sells a suplex, gets right back up, he starts fighting back. He hits a superplex on Ric Flair, and then Lex Luger tries to break up Sting's cover when Sting sees it, and these two friends they start facing off because Sting's like, well, why'd you try to break up my pin, man? He's just like, dude, it's a fucking triangle match. What do you think he's gonna do? But anyway, Sting, while he's facing off with Lex Luger, Ric Flair pushes Sting into Lex, which basically means Lex Luger is now tagged in. Luger starts pounding on Ric Flair, and Ric Flair does his first Flair flop, which gets a great reaction from the crowd. When it's perfectly timed and put in the right place, it's an amazing spot.
Yes.
And this part was good too. So he does the flop, people fucking pop for it. Then he gets up, and Lex Luger starts hitting him some more, and Ric Flair feigns like he's gonna flop again, and then just fucking eye pokes Lex Luger. Brilliant. It was brilliant. Well done. Ric Flair uses a chair on Lex's knee, and he knees Lex Luger in his balls, and he puts on the figure four, but Lex Luger is able to reverse it. Sting gets tagged in, and Lex and Sting, they have to face off, and they handshake first, which gets boos from the audience. Then they start getting into it with Lex Luger having the edge on Sting. Lex Luger low blows Sting right in front of the referee, but there's no call. Ref's just like, whatever. I only call top rope shit, you know. Lex Luger puts on the torture rack, and Sting's legs hit the referee in the face, and the ref goes down. And Ric Flair, noticing that the referee is down, he attacks both Lex Luger and Sting, and then he dumps them both outside. And then he wakes up the referee, and the referee starts doing the countdown, and he counts both Sting and Lex Luger out for Ric Flair to win. Lex Luger actually prevented Sting from making it and breaking up the 10 count. So Sting is really upset with Lex Luger for doing that and won't help Lex Luger up. And all of a sudden, Jimmy Hart comes out and he starts celebrating with Ric Flair for some fucking reason. I would have gave this a B plus, but then Jimmy Hart came out, so I gave it a B. So
the match was fine. It's the three WCW guys. I like the again, they're building the stuff that they don't really get to. I kind of think the NWO derailed a lot of these plans when they decided to go in that direction of like eventually Luger would turn on Sting or Sting would turn on Luger. But the match was fine. Yeah, Jimmy Hart, man, he just ruins the rest of the show. But let's so Macho Man now is out. It's main event time.
I will say this. I think Sting is 100% Ric Flair's best opponent. They're just so much fun to watch, these two.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, of course. And we're not going to see too much more of them on pay-per-view, so enjoy it.
Yeah. So let's go to the main event, WCW title. Ric Flair is still in the ring from the previous match. Out comes Savage, the champion, who grabs the mic from Michael Buffer and he goes, "Oh yeah!" Which is a shame because I was hoping he was going to say, "To infinity and beyond." He should have just done that. So Savage starts peppering Ric Flair. And all of a sudden, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, comes out with a neck brace. He just comes out, stares, and then the officials are like, "Hey, man, go back." And he's like, "All right." And he just walks back. Randy Savage comes off the top with an axe handle, but Ric Flair catches him in the gut, and he starts the heat process. Savage is getting beaten up on the outside, so he's in the aisleway, and he's draped on the rail. And Bobby the Brain he points out a lady in the front row, and she's got this weird hairdo, and he's like, "She's got a chia head." And I was like, "Jeez," it was really funny. Jimmy Hart he distracts the referee, and he tosses the megaphone to Ric Flair, but Randy Savage grabs it instead of Ric, and he hits Ric Flair in the head with it, and Ric Flair bloodies himself. All of a sudden, Brian Pillman and Ben Wash come out because they're both horsemen, but Randy Savage is able to handle both of them. But not Arn Anderson, who comes out and nails Savage with some brass knucks for Ric Flair to cover him and win the match. After this match, Brian Pillman starts beating on Randy Savage with the title belt, and he even gets in Randy Savage's his face, and the commentators keep calling him he's a loose cannon. Look what he's doing. He's hitting with his belt. He's a loose cannon.
Getting the character over, brother.
This is a C. It's just like a basic. Too much bullshit at the end. What did you think of the main event?
Too much bullshit. Too much Jimmy Hart. You know, Ric Flair is celebrating, and fucking Jimmy Hart is just standing in front of him, not letting him really bask in the moment. I mean, Ric Flair, Starrcade at the start just 2 years ago. What a great win for the world title, beating Veda. And now you just got Jimmy Hart. He's constantly in Ric Flair. Did you notice he's constantly in Ric Flair's way? Why the fuck is this guy out here? Like, it's just the managers. This is the managers ruined a lot of the enjoyment I got out of this show.
I agree. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just kind of a flat ending. But you know what? Flair's got the belt again, and that's nice for Flair to have the belt. You know, he always deserves it. And we'll see what happens. That's it for 1995. Who do you think had the better year?
WCW, 100% hands down. It's not even a contest.
Yeah.
WCW.
Yeah. WCW had a better year yet again. 93, 94, 95. They're on a 3-year streak of just having better shows on pay-per-view.
Dude, you have Mabel main event in WWF. Come on, dude. I mean, right? This is like,
dude, I'm excited for 96. I mean, once we get past Uncensored 96, WCW I don't think has a bad show for a long time, and then but they'll make up for it, trust me. But and like we're really in store for some fun shows. Let's preview the next 4 weeks as we enter 2025 and 1996. Next week, Royal Rumble 96, Undertaker versus Bret Hart. In 2 weeks, Super Bowl 6, and that will be Hulk Hogan versus the Giant in a steel cage. In 3 weeks, In Your House 6, Diesel versus Bret Hart in a steel cage. And then in 4 weeks, Uncensored 96, the Mega Powers versus the Alliance to End Hulkamania in a triple steel cage.
Oh my God.
And this is the last pay-per-view where Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan. He is not Hulk Hogan again until August 1999. He's Hollywood Hogan after this. So this is the final month where the Hulk Hogan is Hogan. And then things are going to change. You excited?
Oh my gosh. This is oh my God, just you telling me that there's some kind of stupid like triple
There's a triple cage, and it's Hogan. I think it's Flair, Luger, Kevin Sullivan, Arn Anderson, Zeus, the guy who played Bane in the fucking Batman and Robin film. It is insane. And it's insane. It's one of the worst things ever.
Yeah. Well, so what are you looking forward to?
Next week, the Rumble, and I'm looking forward to shitting on Hogan at Uncensored 96. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Rumble.
Yeah, obviously the Rumble, because I love the Royal Rumble. It's always fun to watch, and I'm kind of like almost like watching a bad fucking movie, interested in watching that triple cage match with a giant who's probably like a green as grass giant versus like.
Well, no, the triple cage is with the Alliance and Hulkamania. They have a regular cage, Hogan and Giant.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. The triple cage is when but the Giant fights the Loch Ness monster on that show. So he's still, it's not like he's like saving the day. But yeah, the triple cage match is at Uncensored. But a lot of cages. 3 shows with cages in a row.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to at all. It's in 5 weeks. Is WrestleMania 12. I fucking hate the Iron Man match, and I cannot wait to shit all over it.
Really?
I think it is. To me, WrestleMania 12 is by far the worst WrestleMania. I'm not looking forward to that.
We've already seen some not good WrestleManias. Like, was it WrestleMania 2 that's not good?
Bro, this is an hour snooze fest. I mean, none of them had an hour where nothing happens.
I'm curious about this.
Good or have you ever seen the Iron Man match?
I have. I didn't hate it, but I never watched the full WrestleMania 12. Like, I never watched all the matches.
Not much happens on the show, and then this match happens, and you're like, How is this WrestleMania? Like, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think ever WrestleMania could turn into 5 nights. They will never do another Iron Man match at WrestleMania. If they do, I will be shocked.
I mean, I didn't like. What's that? Is it WrestleMania 9? The fucking one when he did with the Caesar's
Yeah,
Palace?
no, I don't. Yeah, they all stink, but I mean, this is just an hour of nothing, dude. Like an hour
Yeah,
of
but,
nothing. We got 5 weeks. We got 5 weeks.
yeah,
Right
we
now,
got
we got
5
to focus. Right now, we got to focus on the Rumble, the Royal Rumble. That's
Yeah.
next week, and that'll be the first show of 2025. You know, in January, the last 2 years, Vince McMahon has been up to his old tricks. You think with the Netflix deal hitting, you think he's gonna show up to cause some havoc, cause some Halloween havoc?
No, but I would love it if he did. That would be.
I think
I'm still waiting for Shane to go over to fucking AEW. I want that to happen.
I
I
think
really want.
I think it should be World's End if it's ever going to be. I think you end the year strong with that.
Yeah, I think
know?
so too.
Which is this Saturday. I can't believe it. So
that's this
all
Saturday.
right, guys, it's this Saturday.
I don't even know the card.
Goal, yeah, it's Carl. Carl's wrestling. It's Adam Cole, Bebe versus MJF. That's
versus
really
Carl.
Versus Carl. All right, guys, that's the show. Please subscribe. Tell your friend. If you watch this show, let people know. I think 95 and 94 chased away viewers. We're coming to the NWO. We're coming to Shawn Michaels versus Vader. We're getting Mankind. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. We're getting into the great era. So you gotta fucking tune in and listen to us shit all over it. So, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this card. It's stupid.
What card? Which one? Oh, World's End. I thought you meant Royal Rumble.
This is a dumb card.
Well, he should be doing pay-per-views every month. All right, guys. Hey, hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you have a happy New Year. We will see you in 2025 for the Rumble, the 96 Rumble. We'll see you then, guys. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. It's a 2-year anniversary, and we appreciate watching us. And also, you know what? Tony Khan, go fuck yourself. Thank you.